Now I know what you are thinking. TJ, what is going on with silver? Now, the past couple of days, I've been talking about silver, this death cross, and all these things, and how I would expect some weaker price action amongst silver and gold this week. Now we're starting to see that unfortunately play out. Fortunately for those who are silver stackers and who want to actually get some discounts on silver, this is probably something that you're looking at with glee. But for those who have a high cost basis, obviously this is not something that they want to see. But again, I still say it is all temporary. Now we have some reversal on what's happening in the macro landscape. We'll talk about that, and and also that's one of the reasons why we're seeing gold up and silver down. Now, what does that tell you? Things seem to be risk off, and with that risk off behavior, what is happening in the macro landscape? Well, let's take a look at what CNBC has to say. CDC to reverse indoor mask policy to recommend them for fully I don't want to say that word because I don't want to get this video flagged, but people, you can read. You can read right there. Yeah, you can read. So obviously this, as far as impacting the economy, reverses the direction in which we were going now that the CDC is saying, hey, we're going to reverse course here. Things are looking pretty dicey with the Delta. Now, with that, CNBC also has this to the right-hand side. The S&P 500 today drops 1% from a record, falling for the first time in 6 days. That is a huge drop. Look at the top banner up here. S&P 500 currently down 0.61%. I'm sorry, the Dow is down 0.61%. S&P currently down 0.93%. NASDAQ is down 1.95%. So obviously, tech is getting hit pretty heavily, which is probably one of the reasons why the S&P is getting drugged down so heavily, because it's pretty heavily weighted towards tech. Russell 2000 is also down 1.72%. And wouldn't you know it, the VIX is up 13.54%. Now, obviously, we do have some news coming in from China that I talked about yesterday that's probably adding to some of this pain. But overall, there is pain in the markets today because of what we're seeing in the macro landscape, not because of anything specific with silver. Now, the fact that we are at a point with silver where we hit this death cross, obviously that is something, let me go down to that death cross actually, that is adding to the severity of the down day that we're seeing currently. So you started to see silver tumble a little bit. Then we had this death cross, and now we're starting to see it tumble aggressively. But even without the death cross, we would have likely seen silver have a weak day anyway. Again, it is more closely tied with industry now than it was in the past. So obviously, this is something that we should expect moving forward when we start to see industry have a rough day. Silver may also have some rough days as well. Let's take a look at the Bollinger Bands, MACD, and RSI. We are seeing the upper and lower band expand, which means there's higher volatility. And in response, silver is continuing its path down. We're hitting oversold territory, which is a good sign, which means hopefully we're developing a base here and we won't extend below that. So hopefully we have some support that we're moving around in. For the MAC or for the MACD, we have some weakness there as well. Generally speaking, this is a macro event that has impacted silver. But unfortunately, silver is currently sensitive because of this death cross here. So this negativity has the magnitude of of selling here is impacting silver to the downside pretty aggressively. So on the other hand, because of this macro news, and again, this is kind of how we check our work here. If you want to take it back to the terms of math in school, this is how we check our work. We go back up, and we see gold is actually up 0.15% today. Well, why would gold be up 0.15% when silver's down? Well, as we know, gold reacts pretty well in risk-off environments. So taking a look at gold, we're up 0.15% on the day. And obviously these moving averages look a lot different than silver. So things are looking a little bit more favorable for gold. Let's take a look at the Bollinger Bands and everything else here. So they're actually beginning to tighten, and volatility is actually lessening for gold, and it's actually heading up to fair value again, and its descent in the MACD is slowing down. So things are looking pretty muted for gold. It's not having this down day that almost every other asset seems to be having. Take a look actually at some of these equities by comparison. All you see is red here, and the only green you see here is gold. So obviously silver's down pretty aggressively. The dollar's down. Wood is down. Roku, the stock, is down. Teladoc is down. Tesla's down 4%. ARK Invest is down 3%. So obviously, S&P down 0.91%. FedEx down 5%. So everyone is having a pretty rough day, and silver, obviously being a part of industry, is having a rough day as well. So don't get too worried here. This is a temporary event, and I expect things to, if we have some, course correction here in the macro event or in the macro landscape, as far as, the S&P kind of coming down a little bit more because of this news from the CDC, I expect silver to have some weakness there as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching. Please hit that like button. It's Investing with TJ.